Hi there. And thanks for coming back for part 2 of Who Lives in This House. In part 1 we found a number of different clues in the living room of our famous person. We learned that a single man, who works in the field of education, lives here. Not much to go on, and our celebrity guests Bono and Jessica Johnson weren't able to guess his identity, but now it's time to check out our next room, as we ask, who lives in this house? Okay. We're here in the kitchen of our famous person, and from the state of the decor I'm pretty sure he must be colorblind. So a quick look inside the cupboards reaffirms the fact that he is a single man, meals for one, pot snacks and, now, what's this? A 4-year supply of mustard? Wow. This guy certainly has some weird tastes. And from the number of flies currently crawling across the back of my head, I'm guessing he's not hot on hygiene, sheesh. Anyway, let's see if any of this has helped our studio guests. If I can come to you first, Bono, can you cut the mustard and identify our homeowner? Well, Luke, during my last trip to Africa promoting myself, sorry, I meant promoting the plight of the people, I spent a week living in a tent with a family of 8, with no toilet or washing facilities, in temperatures in excess of 95 degrees. And there were less flies there than in this kitchen. I mean, I've seen some shitholes in my time, but this guy takes the biscuit, and the biscuit is probably ridden with Campylobacter and Staphylococcus, so I think we're looking at a real slob. I mean, the man who can live in squalor like that can surely have no personal pride. Right on the money, Bono. Are you ready to have a guess as to who this animal is? Well, there's only one man I can think of, who's that filthy, and that cheap that he'd appear on a show as crap as this, and that's my old friend, and fellow Irishman, Bob Geldof. Foot King hell. How can I be wrong? Unfortunately that's incorrect, Bono, and completely ignored the fact that we already established he's involved in education. And could you watch the language please? We wouldn't want our viewers thinking that all Irish people were foul-mouthed drunkards, would we now? So turning to you, Jess. Was there anything you heard or saw which helped you identify our famous person?
Sorry. A little bit of sick just came up?
Well, Jess, I can understand that. This place is pretty rank.
No, I'm not talking about the house. I was nearly sick listening to the utter shite that idiot Bono was coming out with.
Well, I won't disagree with you there, Jess, but what about the clues? Anything you've seen which helps?
Well, yes, Luke. I've put all the clues together and I'm pretty sure I've got it. Single man, house like a pigsty, mustard obsession, involved in education. It can only be one person.
Of course it can. And that person is?
Well, it's obvious. It's Pope Francis.
Pope Francis? Pope Francis? How the hell would you get Pope Francis from those clues?
You know, the whole mustard, Vatican link.
What the frickin' hell are you talking about? Well, anyway folks, we've reached the end of part 2, and our celebrities have still not managed to guess who lives in this house, which is unfortunate because this is the scheduled end of the show. We'd expected our studio guests to have worked it out by now. I mean, we rehearsed this with 8-year-olds and they got it by this point, so I'm not sure what happens now. Okay. I've just been advised by my producer that we will be allowed to overrun and air the rest of the show. So for those of you who were hoping to see live coverage of the landing of the first men to step foot on the planet Mars, I'm afraid we'll now be showing highlights of that at another time. So I hope you'll join us again after the break, for part 3 of Who Lives in This House? And fade to break. The Pope? The freaking Pope? That's it. I want whoever booked these two dimwits fired tonight. I mean, Bono's a dummy, but he's like frickin' Albert Einstein next to the bimbo.